I've always been a reader. Okay, so when I was younger, there was a very specific palette I had, and that was Horse Girl and Magic. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Queendom, and on my channel I talk about a bunch of different things, but one thing that I'm very passionate about in real life is books, and I want to translate that to my YouTube channel. Yes I do. But here we are. So you're watching the Booktube Newbie Tag, and I got this from Fandom, and there are a bunch of other people who have done this tag, and so yeah, it's fun. It gives you a little introduction into like who I am, what I'm into, if you would be into my channel. Wow, this hat, I got it from 5 and below, and it's giving 5 and below, but that's okay, we're here, it's fine. So I'm just gonna go through these questions, you know, we're gonna have a blast. So why did I start this channel? Well, what had happened was I love reading, and I feel like that should be the reason that you start a booktube channel, because you love reading. And I feel like, honestly, I don't see people reading what I'm interested in reading, and that's not to be like, oh, I'm so alt, I'm so alternative, I'm so different. Like, no, like, because I want to talk about books, about the books I like, and yes, and hopefully other people will like the books I like and be interested in what I have to say. Okay, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to booktube? Okay, I'm a Black woman. Everything we do, everything we bring is original. Every opinion we have is unique and can be, you know, is useful to the booktube community. Often, sometimes the first booktubers, it took me a while to find booktubers that look like me, and that's just what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
So immediately, sometimes when I type in, I'm not very familiar with booktube things. Like, I just started getting into booktube and becoming like this like really immersed person in the culture around reading books, if that makes sense. Because like, you can read books, like I've been reading books, but that was my TV, but like not be aware of the culture, be active in the culture around it. So like these like talkbacks with the authors, and like book candles, and little bobblehead things, I don't know what they're called, pop-ups, no, pop sockets, that's the thing you put on your phone, I don't know, but the things that bobble. And this is so cringe, the things that bobble. And so anyway, the culture around reading books, and I'm getting more involved in that due to what was 2020. And yes, so I think, one, I can bring in a fresh opinion of someone who is just learning these things. Also, I'm a Black woman, Christian woman. Yes, Jesus, I love you, hallelujah. But also, like, I love, yeah, and so I feel like I have an interesting opinion that I would like to share, and hopefully meet other people who have the same opinions, thoughts, maybe not even the same, different opinions too. We love that. We love different opinions.
Right? And what was her sister? A princess! A wicked witch of the East, bro!
What are you most excited about for this new channel? To actually talk about my thoughts on books. Often I find myself like reading a book and then it's read, like it's just read, and I would like to be a little bit more nuanced in my response to books and how I engage with books. I think for a long time, I kind of, my passion for reading kind of was killed by academia, straight up massacred, because of all the academic journals and things that I had to read, and any moment that I didn't have to read something. I was an international relations major, and so we read a lot. And so anytime I didn't have to read, I was kind of enjoying that opportunity. And so that I would only read in the summer or when I was on break, and that's sad. And I think having this channel will allow me to bring back that nuance, you know, bring back that love, revive that love for reading a book.
Bring back that nuance, you know, bring back that love, revive that love for reading a book.
Excited to read and I love reading for the sake of reading, but I think it will put a new vigor, a new fire under my rump, to have a place to talk about the books I'm reading and to elaborate on my opinions and to critically analyze these things, and just talk about books and have a screen and people hopefully behind the screen that feel things as well about the books that I feel things about and won't judge me or like not really care about the things I'm saying about books. So that's something I'm really excited for. Why do I love reading? Escape, for one. I love escaping in a good book. There's nothing like it. And the thing, this is another tangent, but it applies. I have this thing about watching movie adaptations of books that sometimes, like, I have not yet seen a movie that I'm like, it encompassed and it created everything that I saw in my head while I was reading this book. And just be able to create worlds in your head and see them come to life as you're reading is gorgeous. And gosh, savoring the first time that you read a book, like, there's nothing like it. Like, there's some books that I wish, I'm like, man, I wish I could go back and read this for the first time again, because the feeling of reading that book the first time, chef's kiss.
Yes, that is good.
Oh gosh. Anyway, so yes, love reading, love those things, escapism and savoring first taste. There we go.
What you want, you could do so.
Next question number 5. What book or series got you into reading? This is a really good question. I've always been a reader and I cannot remember. That's a lie. I've always been a reader. Okay, so when I was younger, there was a very specific palette I had, and that was Horse Girl and Magic. So that's so embarrassing, but it's who I was. Anyway, so those all like the horse, I cannot remember. I have to look at my parents' house. Like, I still have some of them in the garage, but like they're the horse books, and they would just go on. It was like, so I read Saddle Club books, but then I also read, like, there was other, like, they had The Ranch, and it's just so many books about animals that you can read, specifically horses. And then I also loved, it was like the Magic Attic girls, and imagine like American Girl books. I also loved American Girl books. Dear America series, loved Dear America series, was all I read. But the Magic Attic Girl series, that was like the first. There's just so many, guys. Okay, but it was that one, and I'll put like the title when I find it. And then there was also Tamora Pierce. Anything by Tamora Pierce, love her. She was my like fantasy awakening. And then Percy Jackson, of course. I wasn't a Harry Potter kid, Christian household as well, so like wasn't really, I still haven't read Harry Potter. I'm gonna read Harry Potter because I feel like I must read. I've seen the movies now, so I might as well read the books. Like, I feel like I should read the books, so I feel like I really enjoy them. But anyway, I was a Percy Jackson kid and loved the Percy Jackson series, and those are like standout series that I read and then read repeatedly, that I'm saying were like the start of my love for reading. And then the Chronicles of Narnia, I think that's kind of really where it started, guys. I'm saying like so many different book, like I can't even pinpoint it because each of them spurred on in me, but I think it is the Chronicles of Narnia that really started it, because my mom read them aloud to me when I and my siblings when we were very young. So I think the Chronicles of Narnia and that whole like series, like that whole C.S. Lewis vibe was what really set it off. But also those horse books, nay. Yeehaw. Number 6, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Okay, so I'm very new to Booktube and I don't really have favorites. Like, so like there's 2 off the top of my head that I know by name. And that's not saying they're my favorite, but they're pretty bomb. So like, I guess they're my favorites, but it's Jess Owens. And I love her book community, like videos, and her just straight on giving you the facts about what's going on in the book community as someone who like really doesn't know all the drama and all the different things and all the stuff. It's a very nice like overview of what's going on, and then yes, an overview of things, and also very like unique, poignant, purposeful opinions and analyses of books that she gives. Love. Then I also love With Cindy, makes me laugh. Hilarious. And so those are the 2 from the top of my head that I can think of that I really enjoy their content in Booktube. And I'm, again, very new. If I like a book, I type it in and see what people have to say about it. But then oftentimes a lot of white people talking about it. So I watch sometimes, but other times I'm like, okay, like they're not, some of them are just not aware of, again, my perspective or things of how I would, perceive what the author is writing or whatever. And so Jess and Cindy are both minorities as qualified in the US. And I would ask them, I guess, as members of these different ethnic and of these different marginalized communities, what are some precautions, what are some things they wish they had known before they started their channel? 7, what challenges do you think starting a Booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? I want to say uploading, because to be honest and to be frank, if you're seeing this video, I kind of only have like 4 videos on my channel and they're scattered. They're all over the place, and also like not consistent. So I think my biggest challenge will be uploading regularly, because I'm reading but like sitting down and looking nice. Guys, I put on colored under eyeliner today, and this is my first time ever doing it, and I did my nails, and like I don't have patience, so it kind of came off, but we're moving on. And yes, so uploading and just getting the content out there and being confident about it, and editing. So like the YouTubical
you can do so.
The YouTubical things about having a Booktube channel. And then also critically analyzing. Like I love talking. I love just like getting on a video and just talking. So like actually sitting down and preparing points to talk about something instead of just, anyway, moving on. Okay, question number 8. When did you start reading? I started reading, of course. You start reading what, like K5, kindergarten, 1st grade. But I want to say I started loving to read 3rd grade. Realized later on that I definitely needed glasses, but I had a hard time getting into reading. Like it was hard for me. And so once I really, I had to get tutors and stuff. And so once I really got into the groove of reading though, guys, you could not separate me from like I was at the library every single Sunday. 15 books are the max at my library was 50. Yes, I knew that limit because I sure enough would just be going through books, and people were like, there's no way you're reading those books so fast. Try me, Susan, try me. Yes, I was reading those books so fast because they're the perfect escape. And so I want to say 3rd grade is when I really started loving to read. Like it was it became a hobby, it became a pastime, it became a calling, period. Moving on. All right, number 9, where do you read? I read at my job. Currently, yeah, I read at my job, I read on the bus, I read on the train, bus, train, another train, another train.
No sleep.
Number 10, what kind of books do you like to read? Guys, okay, so love, of course, my Bible. Like, what kind of human Christian would I be? A devout Christian woman. Would I, if it's so cringe, be without saying Bible, but super cool, stories for days, crazy things, talking bears, women killing husbands with spikes, like virgins having babies. Only one virgin had to marry, well, and just, you know, crazy things occur that are interesting, and every time you reread it, new revelation, over and over and over again. What other kind of books do I love to read? Besides the Bible as nonfiction, I have to say I stay in the fiction realm. I love fantasy. I love historical fiction. That's probably my favorite. Historical fiction romances are kind of my favorite thing, my favorite vibe. Getting into more romance books, my spirit sometimes feels a little unsettled, and then I get weird things. I'll talk about that later. But like sometimes romance depends. Clean romance. Then I love. What else do I love? I said historical fiction. I love fiction, especially like teen fiction. Anything YA. I love a good YA book because I love to have fun. And I feel like adult books are scary. Like I still haven't, guys, I'm 22 and I still haven't read like a real adult book yet. Yeah, I don't think I've read a real adult book yet. Anyway, I also love any Black authors. Like I will follow the Black authors where they lead, okay? So whatever they write there, those are, and I'm also a very much so mood reader, so that's another thing. This is going back to the question, why you're starting a booktube channel. I feel like some people are very, very organized with the books they read. I just read with what I feel. Yes, I have things that are on my to reads list that like are popular or that I, you know, have had my eye on a while or have heard to read, but I really just go in there and look at the covers and I'm like, what is calling me today? Like, ooh, what is over here? What is over there? What is it to read? And that's kind of how I float. And cool covers draw you in, man. What does your book collection look like? My book collection currently is growing. I have adult money because I'm working, and so that means it gets spent on books. And I can't decide. I kind of have a problem. Like, I'm gonna do a book haul, but I have to tell myself, Dominique, when you go into the bookstore, that does not equal you getting a book. You can look and not come out with a book. And because it's been my coping mechanism to buy books over quarantine, I have to curb it. I need to start budgeting for books specifically. Sponsors, if you would like to send me books, you know, when you see this Booktube Newbie Tag to welcome the sister girl into the community, send me the free things. I probably should add that. That's also something, going back to that other question, I would love to get some arcs. I would love to know things and how to get those things and just learning as I go along. So that was not answering this question, but my book collection currently, going back, it's growing. It's a lot of, okay, now I'm thinking about my shelf at home. It's the first half of it is like a lot of apologetics, Knowing God, R.C. Sproul, like a lot of those type of vibe books. And then you have historical fiction books, and then you have some fantasy, and then you have some what else do I have in there? I guess like coffee table books. I have some coffee table books, and then I have a lot of kid books, and I have a lot of like a whole section just devoted to like Black authors, which is predominantly what makes up my library, honestly. And yeah, that's kind of like what my collection looks like, and it's growing, and we're excited about that. So yes, and my computer's about to die, but that's okay because we finished all the questions. So thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you comment down below whatever your thoughts were on this video. And I'm excited to be in the Booktube community, the illustrious community of readers who analyze and joke about books. And so yes, I also make other content talking about college, talking about life, talking about other things, etc. Hopefully some vlogs coming soon. So stay tuned for all of my other content and content devoted to the Booktube times. And yeah, so thank you guys so much, and I will see you later. Bye.